but nothing changed unless you change what's around you, how you think, how you live, how you speak, how you walk, how you blink, how you talk, how you teach, how you reach, let it sink. What's your purpose? What's your passion? Through the pain, what's your plan? Is it plain?
On a plane, hydroplane, I'm just playing. What's your purpose? What's your passion?
Did it end?
All right. You are tuned in. You are now plugged in to the newest show, the newest platform, the newest voices on the airwaves. This is the show called Plugged with Molly and Joe, the Mental Warriors. I know we got a lot of mental warriors out there, a lot of brothers and sisters out there who, instead of want to pick up weapons, want to use the weapons of their mind. This is a show where we are trying to change the idea of how we are looked upon as Black people. Straight up and down. Unapologetically is how we're coming, and unapologetically is how we're going with this. Who am I? My name is Molly, the voice. From Brooklyn, New York. Right here. Born and raised. Why did we create this podcast? Because it was needed. Best believe it was needed. So now, without further ado, I just want to bring up a gentleman who I've learned to admire his intelligence, his love for history, because I have a love for history, his love for his people, his love for knowledge, his love for wisdom, and his love for understanding. My co-host with the most, Joseph Landon.
How you doing, brother?
How you feeling, man?
I'm doing good, man. Well, my name is Joseph, or Joe. I'm a born and bred New Yorker, even though I may not act like it sometimes, but I am a New Yorker. We created this podcast because we wanted the voices that don't think that they matter to matter. We wanted them to know that people are listening to them. Your opinions matter to people. There's somebody that can always get something from you. So we just wanted to be that conduit to those who don't think that their voices matter or mean anything. And our goals from this whole objective is for us to just introduce people to this podcast, introduce people to this way of life, this way of living, and hope that you can accomplish or get something from what we have to say and what we're talking about.
That's great. So what is one of your goals and objectives in us coming together on this podcast here?
To create a platform, to create a way of life, to create a meaning. We live very busy, tenuous lives of what we do. We do a million things, but we never not have enough time to do what we need to do, or we never not have time to spread the word or get the knowledge out. So my goal is to show people that it's necessary.
Okay.
So we're just to show that it's a necessary cause, and I'm pretty sure the show will speak for itself.
One of my goals is to ensure that our people have a platform in which we are informed of our history time and time again. And I'm talking about all of our history, not just slavery, not just the bad, not just the gangsters, the pimps and the such, all the things that get glorified in the media and the such, and in movies and in Hollywood. I want us to start looking upon ourselves as the kings, the queens, and the dignified people that we are. And when I look at the title Plugged, it goes back to one of my favorite movies of all time, which is The Matrix. I'm gonna give a shout out to The Matrix because that's one thing that I feel that everybody seems to be is plugged in to the wrong vibes, to the wrong lifestyles. You know what I mean? And what we need to do is unplug them and get them plugged back in to where they're going to prosper in life in the touch. You know what I mean?
Yes, we're red pilling it, if you will.
Yeah, red pilling it, if you will. If they had a choice, you know what I'm saying? What,
Yes.
what, what's your thought on that movie there, Matrix? What's your thought on that?
Matrix was a good movie. It showed people that there were concepts in life, that there were two different ways. Obviously, the blue pill meaning one thing and the red pill meaning another. And it was up to you to make the choice that you wanted to do. But I personally think both pills had a connection, or both concepts had a connection. And it was up to you to figure out what the connection was.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Um, Me creating this podcast with you was one of the things that made me want to do so was, like I said, your extensive like photographic memory on history. It seems like you could just, shoot out something to you and you'll just be like, oh, okay, all right, boom, you know what I mean? And you'll have it, you'll know something about it. Where did you get that? Like where like how did you even like get that way? Like where did that come from?
When I was younger, I was one of those kids that used to love listening to their grandparents' stories or their parents' stories. I could actually sit and watch their eyes just light up when they're telling a story and the passion behind it. And I was very good at just remembering dates and events. Um, so I liked all history, not just Black history. When I was in high school, I had a teacher who pretty much shot me down when I wanted to bring up Black history during Black History Month, about Tuskegee Airmen during World War II. We were learning about Hitler and Stalin and Churchill and people who made an impact during World War II. So I asked her, I said, well, can we talk about the Tuskegee Airmen who also were important? And she told me I need to learn it on my own damn time, thus creating the monster that you see today.
Well, my history, I was born into as an Israelite, and in being so, you're into books. You got books here, books there, you got books everywhere, and you constantly reading and you constantly drilled, a lot about history. And I just took to it. Like at the end of the day, I love documentaries. I love historic pieces. I love all things dealing with history because I think that's the best reality show there is past
Absolutely.
history. And it teaches you so much about the human nature of people. You know what I mean? Like how humanity should be in times, and then how humanity isn't at times. So that's where my love of history come from. And then back in the old elementary school days, shout out to PS9, where we used to be sitting there and they used to make us watch Martin Luther King and watch his docu. No, it wasn't a documentary, it was a movie. I remember I used to cry every time. I used to know he about to die. I used to think like duck something. I used to be like, man, do something, do something different. Man, listen, Jesse, get in the way, something, man. And as a kid, I used to
Right.
be boo-hooing every time Dr. King got shot. So that was one of the things where it's like we're here now and we're able to, be a voice for the people. And I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to this journey, man. And before we get into our next topic, what I mean, I just want to say, salute to you, what I mean, for joining me on this journey. And I feel it's gonna be a few other people, what I mean, it's gonna be Molly, Joe, and a few other people as we keep going, because remember it's about being mental warriors. So here we is,
Absolutely.
all right.
The message is a message that needs to be spread, and there's a lot of people who can help us in spreading it.
So I want you to go first in our next portion of the show. Whereas we're going to give a shout out to our ancestors. That's important to me because we want to make sure that it's not lost upon anybody that we don't understand where we come from. And we want people to start understanding where they come from. And maybe if they get a little, more platforms where it's hitting them in the head. We ain't talking about stories about, hip hop artists getting drunk and all that other stuff. We're talking real history. We're talking real
Absolutely.
things that matter. So I want you to kick it off, and then I'll follow suit. You can kick off your shout out to the ancestors.
Well, when it comes to acknowledging our ancestors, in order to know your history, you must know yourself. You must know where you come from. You must know who you are. You must know your roots. I started this journey about 10 years ago where I really started to want to develop my family crest. So that means my maternal side, which is my mother's side, and my paternal side, which is my father's side. So I spent a lot of time just trying to question and grill the ancestors that are left to kind of get as much as I could. Um, like I said, I was born in New York, but I have ancestry in Georgia, the Carolinas, Jamaica, and Panama. For what I know, there's probably more, but that I know for sure. So I just used to get in contact with my aunts, my uncles that are still around, and just ask them questions in regards to my family. Some of the things I do remember, I want to shout out my grandfather, my paternal grandfather. We called him Pepitone. He was a Negro Leagues baseball player.
Okay.
This is something that I didn't know too much about it while he was alive. I learned this after, like, when he was sick and when he was dead, because of his funeral. A lot of baseball players came, professional ones came to visit him and said how big of an impact he was in their careers. Not the Negro League players, but the MLB players. So, and he has a stadium dedicated to him in Newark, New Jersey, because that's where he spent the end of his days. So knowing these things and knowing the impact of what they were able to do, that said, well, what about my legacy? What can I do? You
Right.
know, also having family that helped build the Panama Canal on my mother's side. So that's another thing. All these stories were of independence, of finding out who they are and trying to better themselves. So for us, it's easy for us to say that we want to better ourselves, but they actually had to do it. And a lot of us don't know how. So I'm still trying to find out what my purpose in life is. But with these stories and these facts of history and my side, it helps me understand my life a lot better.
Okay. All right. So my paying homage to my ancestors come in the shape of my father. Um it- yeah, there you go. That's Roberto Duran, one Hall of Fame boxer, famous boxer, and behind him is my father. And reason why I love this pick so much is because this had to be like one of the most highlight, this one had to be more a highlight of his life in a sense, because here's a man who came from Panama with nothing merely besides a phone number and $50 to his name. And he created a life that, there's many that would do the same as I'm doing today, which is paying homage to him. He was a very, 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 very intelligent man. He was a very charismatic man. He was a very wise man. He instilled in me wisdom, whereas logic comes to play in most of the things that I do in life. And I have to pay homage to him in this first podcast for all that he's done for me, myself, my everyone. Um, when it comes down, I mean, I get choked up about it, of course, because he's not with us anymore. and I believe that he had so much to give to the world, and he gave so much to the world in such a short time. He touched the lives of many. He was around the likes of Mike Tyson, Bill Cosby. You know how that go now, right? Cancel culture now.
Listen,
Cancel culture now. You know what I mean? That used to be something that you could what I mean, you could brush your shoulder off with that one, pop a feather, but pop a collar on that one. But
hey,
yeah. So my father is who I pay homage to today. My uncle, who I lost to what's the name? Um, One thing, my uncle, who I lost as well. That's what I get choked up about, because I lost these people as well. And right now, I've lost someone else who was dear to me, and another homage to the ancestors, which is my father-in-law. I lost him this past 4 months ago. Wasn't COVID related or anything like that. It was just his time, and that and he filled the hole that I had from my father. Losing my father, and he had filled a hole for a long time with that. So I'll say this, that we're going to use this segment of paying homage to the ancestors, and we're going to talk a lot about history. We're going to talk about, the Malcolm X's, the Martin Luther Kings, the Marcus Garveys, the W.E.B. Du Bois, the Frederick Douglass, the sisters in the fight, the brothers in the fight. This is what that time is really about. And today was about, our personal homage to our ancestors. The question I have for you, Joe, is what is one lesson you learned from your elders that has an impact on you today?
I have so many lessons. I have so many things I could talk about, but one that comes in particular comes from my maternal grandmother. She was a very patient woman, very kind, quiet, solemn. She reminded me of the old Teddy Roosevelt analogy. She spoke softly but carried a big stick, you know. And she was very patient. And one of the things that my grandmother always talked about was being patient, and just living life as it is. She was a very highly religious woman, but she didn't let that affect those around her. She let them lead their lives. And if they came back to religion, and that was their purpose. If they lived their life, then they lived their life. But she always let you lead and choose what you wanted to do. So my grandmother used to always say, live life for yourself and make your own purpose in life. And that's one of the things that I do to this day. And I'm very grateful that she told me that.
I unfortunately wasn't able to have a relationship with any of my grandparents, unfortunately. But one of the elders that impacted me, his name was Chief Naphtali, and it was just his demeanor and how he approached life. He approached life like it was a movie. Like he always told us the greatest stories, man. Listen, and one of the things that he also did was he loved my father and respected every aspect to him. And um, there were things in my life where I might have, if there were people that might have been judgmental about who I was and how I was living my life. But anytime I spoke to that man, he always had good words for me. Whereas he even said before he left here that my father will be proud of me. You understand what I'm saying? And it meant so much because the life I was living wasn't something that was, people actually agreed with in his world. So for him to say that meant so much to me, and it carries with me to this day. You know what I mean? And with that being said, the paying homage is one of the things that we're going to do weekly.
Yes.
Ooh.
I say just there's always a message that could be taught with your elders. All it takes is one elder and one message, and that can get you to where you need to go in life. And that's what people
All
need to
right.
realize.
So what we got now is, as we said, we're going to introduce you guys to the different kind of little segments we got going on. And right now we got what we're going to do. It's called the current event segment, where we're going to get into, it might be a little hip hop, it might be a little sports related, it might be who knows what it's going to be. But today, what do we have for them today? What we got in the current event section today? All right, we got Jay-Z. Can we get that zoomed in or not? No? All right. So we got Jay-Z, who recently launched an app called Perch Credit that allows minorities to raise their credit score with their monthly subscription to Netflix, Hulu, Spotify, Disney Plus, and more. Jay-Z and Marcy Venture Partners have already invested $2.5 million into the app. And I give a round of applause for that. Alrighty. Now, yes. The reason why I find that to be so important is because some people sit there and say, oh, all these hip hop artists, they don't have to be held accountable for their actions outside of being entertainers. And I just don't agree with that. I never agreed with that. I think that's furthest from the truth. I think they have so much influence on a lot of these kids and what they do in life, to where Jay-Z, to me, used to drop the ball in the past, to where I wasn't necessarily a fan of Jay-Z's in the past, where it was like he was sitting there selling so much, the drug dealing and the street life and you know what I mean, and the womanizing and the such, to where I was just turned off from being the person that I am. You know what I mean, being plugged in as we are. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I mean, that didn't necessarily rock with me. But now he's coming of age, I like what I'm seeing right now, because one of the things that I've always said is that I didn't understand the philosophy of gaining credit, where there was some things that you're paying monthly and it's not counting towards your credit report, like rent, like your everyday rent. Because there's people, there's things where they're sitting there saying, well, okay, we don't think you're good enough to pay a mortgage of $1,500 a month. You know what I mean? So we can't give you that credit, but you're able to pay $2,000 in New York a month.
Right, for rent.
Yeah, for rent. Like, but how does that make sense to you? I'm able to pay $2,000 on an average basis in New York for rent, but you're telling me I can't pay $1,500. So, but I can't show that on one side. So this is what we're talking about. This is how this is going to go down. This is how this segment, this section is going to go down. We're going to come up with something. We're going to bring it up, and then we're going to jump into it. And like I said, the Netflix and the Disney Plus, all of those things that we sit there and pay top dollar for. Yes. It is very important that becomes a part of who, our financial gains. What do you think?
Right. I think you're absolutely right. These are things that we're accustomed to paying to regularly, so it becomes part of our daily quota. So the fact that, and then for most people, they have it on a card where it just comes off. Like, people forget that they're paying these things. So it's like building collateral. So I think people that build their collateral, like, it'll be better for them. It's good for them to kind of have a system where they can earn credit for doing things that they're supposed to be doing. Like, I never understood the whole credit situation anyway. When I was younger, I turned like 18 and I just started getting all these bills in my name and, getting phone bills and paying rent. And they were saying, well, now you're going to develop credit for it. Well, as young, you don't understand. You don't understand the process of the credit. So if you don't pay your bill on time, your credit goes down. If you have a bad credit card, your credit goes down. So, like, what are you developing credit for? Obviously, to be able to get loans for different things, probably to buy a house, to buy a car, whatever the case may be. But I think this is also helps with financial literacy. It also helps people understand that their credit is what it's the outlook for a lot of people in society today. Your credit
Yeah.
score actually means something to a lot of people. So if you have a great credit score, then that determines you on the better part of life, which shouldn't be the case. But for those who don't have a credit score or is trying to build one, this is a foundation for them, because if they can see the little things like the Hulu, the Netflix, all these subscriptions, then when it comes to their other bills, they can say, hey, I should use the same method for that. And I applaud Jay-Z for that. And I hope other people with money can follow suit to what he's doing. Maybe in another field where we can, the less fortunate can develop as well. But I applaud Jay-Z for that. And I think it's a step in the right direction.
What do you think about other celebrities? Do you think there's enough celebrities doing what Jay-Z is attempting to do?
Absolutely not. And the reason why I say that is because if the celebrities, if they were to put their resources together, we wouldn't have to worry about reparations. We wouldn't have to worry about financial crisis in
Right,
the Black and
right,
minority community.
right.
But the name
It's
of the
self.
game is self-individualism. It's looking
Mhm,
out for self, looking out for your best interest. You put a little
mhm.
bit here and there to show the masses that you have a heart. But that's really about it. But if we had a collective between millionaires and billionaires, especially of us, and knowing that they came from where most of us came
Hey,
from, to where they got to, that, like I said, we need to see more of that. And seeing where society is today, that's definitely the case. But at the same time, I can't miscredit them for that, because they earned that. That's theirs. But at the same time, if you want to be compassionate, if you want to be considerate, if you want to show people that you really care, do things while people are not looking at you.
right. That's called integrity.
Right.
That's the integrity word. You understand? And I agree. I totally agree. There isn't enough. There isn't enough celebrity representation in the communities. Jay-Z, to me, like I said, was very slow in his representation. Maybe he had a plan. You know what I mean? One of my favorite books was Spook Who Sat by the Door, which was book
Mm,
club. So Spook Who
yes.
Sat by the Door. Whereas you learning all the information, and you're getting all that information, and you're sitting there, and then you come up with a plan. You come up with a plan to handle things. So at the end of the day, I know for a fact that the celebrities do not support the communities enough. Um, I believe that they underserve the communities in many ways through their behavior as well. Because when you sit there and you can influence these kids in such a negative way to have not done anything positive in the community for them, how does that make sense? How does that help? It's the most selfish way of capitalism you could think about, because you take so much from us
Absolutely.
in two different ways. You take their money and their views, their likes. You take their mind. You take their soul. I mean, I just named so many different ways that they grab these kids, and it's such a sad situation, But when it
And
comes, yes, I'm listening.
And a lot of it is due to financial personal gain. Like if they are doing something, best believe there's some type of benefit for their behalf. It's not a lot of the times it's not because of their heart. It's because of the kickback they'll get behind it, or the publicity. Something that is going to benefit them. So that's why they'll do it.
Yes. Listen, all I want to do is at this moment is give flowers when flowers is due, because we did pay homage
Yes.
to the ancestors, right? And Jay-Z
Yes.
he's one of the ancestors at some point. You know what I mean? He's gonna be looked upon, and people are gonna sit there and be like, hey, listen, you know what? Jay-Z did some things, and we paying homage to you today, brother, because that was an awesome thing. That was better than any of the albums you've ever even produced. Trust me, because that's actually going to help our people. That's going to help our people. That's going to help our people. That's going to help our people. And that's all that matters, Joe. That's
That
all
is
that.
absolutely
That's what we're here for.
final.
You are here with
Final statement.
Plug, with Molly and Joe, the mental warriors, man. As you see, we're gonna do this, man. And right now, we're gonna have a word from our network.
Looking to podcast shows and do not know where to start? The Evening Rush Network can help you with that. Call us at 929-441-2417 or email us at theeveningrushnetwork@gmail.com for dates and prices. We got you for all your podcast needs. The Evening Rush Network. Tune in, subscribe, and share.
After seeing that, I just want to give a shout out to the Evening Rush Network, because what he's doing is that Black entrepreneurship thing that I love. You know, he's doing it for us. He's doing it for the community. It's pretty dope. And you know, I'm stealing into our time. I know our producer probably gonna get mad a little bit, but I'm stealing into our time just to give the Evening Rush Network a shout out on this time, you know, at this time. You know, it's pretty cool what they're doing. If you're looking to get your podcast, get your voice out there, because there's enough room for all of us. I'm telling you, if you look on Spotify right now, you're going to see a bunch of country, Midwestern, surfing, and you know, I don't want to get too out of the range, you know what I mean, of just calling it what it is, but man, they out there, man, and they getting views, they getting listens, all that. And this is a Black brother who's doing the thing. Shout out to Sean. Word up. So next up, we got something near and dear to me. Like, it's real near and dear to me, right? It is called the Big Apple Leadership Academy for the Arts. Okay? And you know, I gotta pull up something real quick for you guys. Oh no, not that one. Sorry about that. Big Apple Leadership Academy for the Arts is a not-for-profit organization. Joe, while I pull this up, can you give me what's your take about that program while I pull something up real quick?
Well, it's a need for the community. When I can remember one time, especially here in New York, when in the education system, they were trying to get rid of arts in the school, like performing arts, music arts, and things of that nature, but not understanding most of our culture is performing arts. So I'm glad that we have organizations that are coming back to say, well, we don't need the Department of Education to tell us that arts is not important. You know, a lot of our revenue comes from the arts. So anything that we do arts related is important, and especially for the kids and for the children of today. That's how they express themselves. Creativity is a form of art. So using creativity, there's so many different things that come from it. So just to have anybody with a creative mind can benefit from an arts program.
Right. So I pulled up what I needed to pull up. And at some point, what we're going to do, we're going to have a representative from the Big Apple Leadership Academy for the Arts speak on everything that we're speaking on. I'm also a member, founder, of Big Apple Leadership Academy for the Arts. That's why I'm a little choked up. Today is going to be a little emotional for me because it's the first show. It's a little touching to me, right? So we have Big Apple Leadership Academy for the Arts, aka BALA. It's a youth-centered nonprofit organization that provides opportunities for New York City youth to explore the arts. Our programming includes the Empire Marching Elite, which is an HBCU style community marching band. This program has about 130 members on roster and teaches traditional HBCU style marching arts. providing band scholarship opportunities to our members. Such an opportunity is rare in New York City, as New York is not a traditional marching band state. However, New York City is filled with talented young men and women who deserve the same educational opportunities. Other programming we offer includes Ball of Bronze. That's something that me and this guy, oh no, he's this way. Yeah, me and this guy right here.
That's our baby. That's our legacy, man.
That's right there. Just to let y'all know. Oh, by the way, we're looking for more mentors. We cannot have not enough mentors.
Absolutely.
We're going to start being able to plug that information, have it during the ticker down there and all that good stuff. We're learning. This is, baptism under fire, as they say. You know what I mean? So we're learning, but those are things that we need mentors. We need support. We need everything when it comes down to Baller. Okay, so back to Baller Bronze, our male mentoring program. We have Baller Beauties, our all girls empowerment initiative. And then we also have our urban and multicultural education initiative. All right. So we're going to back up to Baller Beauties a little bit. And we're going to speak a little bit about that being the sister program to Baller Bronze. Okay. And that's very important. We need young ladies to come out and learn something about themselves. All right. So we have our Urban and Multicultural Education Initiative, which offers programs to teach the rich history of minorities in the United States and promote tolerance and diversity. Okay, that's in Black history. Black history matters all year round. All year round. That is the reason why we launched our podcast today. Today is the last day of what they consider Black History Month. What we are doing is, this is year round. You will hear about your Black history if you plug into us. Plug in. Yes. All right. All right. So we are here, and we have Baller Legacy, which is our adult program that focuses on the physical, emotional, and financial health of parents and adults in our community. We provide that in itself allows us to bridge the gap, where we have healthy adults with their mind, body, and soul. They're going to produce healthy children. It's math, it's logic, it's just going to work. Okay. We provide a summer enrichment program that offers art, okay, theater, African drum, dance, crafts, vocal, fundamentals of boxing, physical education, and HBCU style marching band to campers. We also offer academic support services and community service opportunities to community members. Listen, we need all the support in the world. What I would like for everyone to know and understand is any support, prayers, everything matters. Without further ado, I have a nice little treat for you guys. Roll it, please. All right.
That was great. That was wonderful, bro.
Yeah. And I would like to okay. Yes, Miss Keisha. We will let you know what we'll give you all the information that you need, okay? I know it's going to take us a little bit over our time on something else, but I want that other video. I really do. I want that other video because we had a grand opening recently. We opened up our headquarters. Our headquarters is open. We have space for the kids. Grand opening.
We are really excited about the direction that our organization is taking.
That's not me.
And hopefully today you'll get a little bit more insight about what we do
That ain't
here
me.
and how you can possibly support our future work at Bola. So, without further ado, if I can have my e-board put their hands all together. And on 3, 1, 2, 3. Welcome to
So I'm just so happy to be here. I'm so proud of you and everything that you have been doing with the youth. And I look forward to collaborating with you and working with you, and to not just have our youth learn their instruments, but learn about life, learn about politics. And I know that you emphasized that when you did speak at the on the mural about how it's just not about learning the instruments, but learning about life. So I look forward to working with you and your team and everyone here to make this the most successful youth organization in Brooklyn throughout the city. Thank you.
trust and believe that every day that goes by, every single day that goes by, all we do is think about how we can be better. What can we do better? How can we make the kids better? How can we make our program better? We hope you enjoy what you see tonight. And again, welcome to Bola.
Okay.
Listen, that's just the beginning. Just the beginning.
Yeah, that'll make your heart melt a little bit. But moving on, right? Because that was Black history in the making, right? That was Black history. Like at the end of the day, that was Black history. So there's a question you had, Joe, earlier that I want to touch on. And when it comes down to our social issues. Go ahead.
Well, what I asked was, or what I was thinking about was, what's the importance of Black history? What does it mean to people? Is it ignorance? Is it important? Like it, I guess, obviously to those who appreciate it, you would say it was important. For those who don't understand it or appreciate it, it would be ignorance or even inconvenience because it's not something that they understand. I recently saw somewhere in Utah where the school district allowed the parents to opt out of Black History Month courses.
Right.
That kind of made me very uncomfortable because what I had been given that option if I was a kid to say, who cares about World War I and World War II and American history aspect? Could I have opted out of that? That has nothing to do with me.
Right.
But here's the tricky thing. that it does have something to do with me because of the people that served in World War I and World War II. A lot of us ancestors that served weren't equal. They were looked at as separate but equal. A lot of them didn't have opportunities. They weren't able to fly the planes. They had separate battalions and units. So
Correct.
at the end of the wars, when you go back
Going through it.
home,
Yes, going through it while trying to protect this country.
and after as well. I mean, I look at the Vietnam War and the support that wasn't given to the soldiers that came back, and a lot of them had to suffer from PSTD, and there was no support from our own country behind it.
Right.
So, and a lot of them suffered their lives. Their families got detached. You know,
I
it's a
witnessed it
whole
personally.
systematic
Yes,
structure
I witnessed that. Yes.
behind it. So, Black history is every person's history, all over the
Yeah.
world, and
Yeah.
impacting Black history from everywhere. So for
Yeah.
those who are ignorant to it or inconvenienced by it, it's there. And I
Yeah.
guarantee you there's anything or something that you could think about that has a Black history influence to it. So these are for those who don't understand why it's important.
Now, excuse me. The fact that there's anybody who can fathom or even think that Black history is ignorant, right? Just goes to show their ignorance. You know what I mean? In a sense. It's the most important history in our life at this moment because it's the missing piece to a lot of history. It's the missing piece to humanity in a sense because once you plug us in as humans, plug us in as humans in a sense, and everything else will make sense. You'll stop hating us. You'll stop beating on us. You'll stop trying to murder us. You'll stop. Because we are part of this whole cycle. We're all on one earth, one reality, one life. We all bleed the same thing. Like you said, brother, listen, this is all one history. It's not a Black history or a white history. We all share in history.
We just need to let them understand.
I'm listening.
We just need to let them understand that, like, we're not here to take over anything. Like, we all built a part in this life, and we just want to be acknowledged for it. And I think that overall, that's at the end of the day, it's an acknowledgement because there are things that are not even acknowledged.
I mean, our lives haven't been acknowledged as of yet because we're still fighting the same fight as of just last year when you talk about the riots and the such. When you talk about, see, we can't fall asleep to the fact that we just got a tyrant out of office. You know what I mean? And for a lot of people, the guy that replaced him ain't doing much better in the first little go around now. So
he's the nicer version.
So these are the topics that down the line we're going to bring up, and this is what this is about. We're going to touch on these things. We're going to touch on those same topics because, bruh, like you said, I mean, our history is intertwined. And that's one thing that our people and their people need to understand. There's not going to be a separate history. It's not happening. It's not going to work like that. I mean, maybe you got a different take on that, but I think it's not going to work.
No, not at all. There's a book that we recently read and we were introducing to our mentees called Black History for Beginners. It's something that I think they need to, if you want to understand it, it's kind of like a Black History for Dummies, not necessarily for dummies, but for those who don't understand,
Listen. Call it what it is.
Call it what it is. No filter, huh?
It is what it is, bro. Listen, I mean,
but seriously, it's for those who don't understand and can read the impacts and understand why it's so important.
Honestly, they got the filtered version of me already. This is filtered.
Yes.
Right now, this is all filtered. So they're good. We're good. Dummies is good.
Okay.
Dummies is good.
But no, I think you should definitely check it out. It's on Amazon, $12. I think it's a nice, comfortable book. Illustrations, it's very easy to read,
It got
and you never
pictures.
know, you might learn something.
It got pictures.
And it got pictures too,
It
so
got
it's
pictures.
something that. So it's definitely something for y'all to read. We'll be talking a little bit about it as our podcasts go on, because there'll be things
Right,
in it that we want to
because
talk about and discuss.
we're gonna do the book club thing, right? We're gonna do the
Yes,
book
that'll be
club.
our book club. That'll be our book club with our mentees and get them started. And like I said earlier, knowing yourself is the most important thing first. How do you know yourself? By backtracking and looking back on where you come from in its history. So
And
that's
you
something that is very important.
and you're pretty much not prone to repeat it if you study it, the best way possible, you know. Um,
Absolutely.
wow, wow. You look at the time and it's like, wow, okay, we did that, and it's not like I do have so much more in my head, to speak on, but it's not that we don't have anything to talk about. We have too much to talk about,
To talk
and
about. That's right.
that's what plugged is all about. It's about being plugged in. It's about plugging out of your old thoughts of how this is supposed to go. We're gonna plug you out of the old way of thinking and plug you back into a whole new way of thinking. Trust me. You will hear about us. You will know about it. There's so many
Yes.
other mental warriors out there. Joe, I'm sure you got a few in your circle.
Oh yeah, all the time. Like, these conversations usually go not recorded, so it's good that we finally have a place to record them. So these
Right,
are basic
right.
conversations every day.
Right, because this is every day for us, right? So at the end of the day,
Yeah.
what's happening is you're going to record it and put it on YouTube, and then somebody else is going to be able to see it. And
That's right.
voila!
And there's so many people who think like us, and they just need to know that there are people who think like us, and we're all on the same page. And that'll
Right,
encourage more people to say, "Hey, I'm a mental warrior too."
right. Because guess what? There's other screens that could flow up in this, and we could get a nice little round table or some sort down the line, and and I think that'll work, man. You know what I'm saying? I think that'll work,
Yes.
man. The book you already spoke on. You spoke on the book that we're talking about. The book about the book of the week, the book of the month, I guess what you want to call it. Is Black History for Beginners. If you want to keep up with us, and what we're reading, what we're talking about, and all that. Listen, these are the kind of ways that you do it, because we're going there first so that we could get that out the way. We could get like you said, the Black History for Dummies out the way, and then we're gonna go into more intricate and more detailed situations. We have so many different ideas how to take this platform, and this is just the beginning. Maybe an hour isn't
Just the
enough.
beginning.
I'm starting to think it could possibly go that route. We're going to do interviews. We're going to have special guests. We're going to have musical guests. We're going to have music. We're going to have music. We're going to have music. We're going to
Yeah.
unsigned artists, all you unsigned artists out there with positive messages. That key, positive messages. We take you. You know what I mean? We want to, use our platform to spread your word. Anything you want to say, Joe?
If you have information on how you want to contact us, you follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram at plugged MJ, Marley and Joe. So that's the way to get in contact with us. There will be, if you have questions, you can contact us the same way as well, and we'll definitely respond to those questions. And you're also helping us develop content as well. So believe that there'll be something new every week for you to kind of salivate for.
Yeah, yeah. Like one of our future topics is Black comedy and its impact on the plight of Black people in America. Quiet as kept. Black comedy is so much a part of Black history. And I'm pretty sure I'm
Absolutely.
going to find me a few comics that's going to come on here and give you what their take is on history. and do it with a little funny bone there. You know what I'm saying? Get a little laughter, because somebody who
Yes.
inspired me to be a better me sometimes was one Damon Rosier, a comedian who was supposedly paralyzed, but I don't know. I keep questioning that, because he stood taller than most men I can even imagine or think of. But he his one of his slogans was, "Laughter is the key to life." You know what I
Yes.
mean? And I carry that with me to this day, and that's what that future show going to be about. It's going to be about laughter. You know what I mean? It's not the next
Yes.
show. It's a future show, not the next
Yes.
show, the future show. And
You
then,
you made me think.
huh?
You made me think of something really quickly. There's a movie called Top Five with Chris Rock, and in the
Uh,
scene he's talking to DMX behind jail, and DMX is singing the old school song "Smile." So the lyrics are like "Smile even though your heart is aching, smile even though your heart is breaking," but he's doing it in DMX fashion. If you ever heard DMX rap, it's hilarious. So with that song, somebody telling you to smile, that just put a smile on my face and make me laugh.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, that's what happens sometimes. And they go to historian you are. And then what's another future topic, the story of the underdog. One thing me and Joe found out about each other is that we love a good underdog story. So we're gonna talk about underdogs, the underdogs in the struggle, the underdogs in Black history, them people that you were sitting there like,
Yes.
oh my God, they don't look like they're gonna make it, but they made it. You know what I mean? This is the format. This is the time to do it. This is the If it ain't no time, then now I don't know what time it is, man, because
That's right.
the world is ready, Joe. You know what I mean? The world is ready. The mental warriors out there is ready. The people is ready to be plugged in with the information we have for them. I hope a lot of people is ready to plug out of their world, and just, and come into something new and different. And this was it was an honor to start this off with you, bro. Just to let you know, what I mean. I salute you, and that's what it's all about, brother. What about you?
Yes, we are setting the example. This is how it needs to be done. For those who don't know how to work with fellow person and get it together and make a change, this is a perfect example of it. Two people that are like-minded with the same visions is coming together and making something great. I promise you, this ain't the beginning, and we have a lot more to talk about and say.
Yeah. Because the funny part is, they would think that we knew each other for years.
Right. Well, that goes to show you how simple people are, but don't really know it. But when you got start to talking to people and get to know them, you realize, hey, you're just alike. You could be my brother. You could be my sister. We all
And
come from the same cloth.
it doesn't take time. It doesn't take that much effort either. It's
Not
just
at
as
all.
genuine. It's just as genuine as opening your eyes in the morning, brother. You know what I'm saying? And
That's right.
all you got to do is look. You know. All right. So basically, what we're going to do now is, it would be question and answer, but we're not there yet. You know what I mean? We're not all the way there yet. I just want to give thanks to the creator. I want to give thanks to my moms, my pops. You know what I mean? I want to give thanks to all of the ancestors that helped make me. My wife over here, she's over here in support of myself. All right, you know what I mean? We got our producer extraordinaire over there. We got Shonda Dawn over there. We got my sister Alicia, but somewhere around there. Where's she at? She's somewhere around. I know she is.
Oh
I
yeah.
know Alicia
Oh
was
yeah.
somewhere around there. See, I don't want to divulge.
Listen, she giving you that look.
Yo, so with all that said, man, listen, thank you guys for tuning in to Plugged with Molly and Joe, the Mental
Yo,
Warriors. It was a pleasure to give you guys some information, a new voice, a new breath of life. I hope everyone is happy. I hope everyone enjoyed themselves. We got so much in store for you guys. I'm so humbled to even be able to speak to any one of you or touch anybody's heart. at this moment. I don't know who's listening, to be honest with you, but guess what? We here, right? We here, right, Joe?
We here, and we ain't going nowhere.
Not for a little bit. Not for a little bit. Listen, I keep telling you, the Thinking Morning Show soon, man. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
Might have to
that's
wake
next.
these people up. You heard?
Yes, but listen, we got a show coming on Thursday. This Thursday coming up, March 4th. So that's how quick you'll get us back in the groove. So just stay tuned. Looking
Yep,
forward
we
to hearing
done.
from all of y'all.
And we're done.
Peace.